Welcome to Fangirl Diaries. This is your fangirl host with the most, Danny. And let's get into today's entry.
Okay. Lilia, I'm going to warn you right now. This is going to be a weird one. Okay. Out of all the... Well, actually, it's not true. I think out of all the BLs that we're going to do, this one's going to be up there. There's one other one we're going to do in a few months once I actually watch it and finish it. That's just as weird. But when I first heard about this BL, I was like, oh, huh? It's our first Korean BL. Because I don't think we're going to do a Korean BL by the time this one drops will be our first one. It's funny because it's a weird plot, but it's also very sweet and kind of sad. And it made me cry at the end. And I don't like that I felt all those emotions. So for any pet lovers out there, be warned. You're going to feel a lot of weird feelings about this one. I guess I should mention the show title. We're going to do Choco Milk Shake, a BL that came out a couple years ago. So let's get started. All right. Are you ready for the synopsis? This one's going to be a doozy. Okay. A cat and a dog cross the Rainbow Bridge and return to the tricentennial world. What the fuck? In human form. Yep, it's one of those. Jeong U lives alone. When he was 20, a fatal accident robbed him of all he loved. He lost not just his parents. I didn't know that part. I didn't figure that out till now. But even the pet dog and cat, Choco and Milk, whom he raised since childhood. One evening, after returning home from work in his uncle's cafe, he is disturbed by two handsome strangers knocking on his door. They don't knock on his door, they find him on the street. To his belief, they claim to be Choco and Milk. They can prove it, however, and after hearing the memories of earlier times together, Jeong U realizes that he indeed has been visited by the two beloved companions of his youth, reincarnated in human form. Chocolate and Milk settle themselves comfortably in Jeong U's home, and the three once more enjoy the warmth and affection they have longed for since their cruel separation. But there are new dimensions to their resumed life together, and surprising discoveries to be made in the realms of friendship and love. Reincarnated animals turn into humans. Whee! I told you it was gonna be a weird one. A really weird. Let me tell you, it took me a couple episodes to really I didn't like watching this with my dog next to me. It was really weird. Maybe we shouldn't put Rocky on the cover of this one. No, It's Surprising is a really sweet show when she gets past the weird parts. They're really short episodes. I will say, for this one, the good thing about this series is that you can watch it on YouTube. The whole series is on there. Just look up Choco Milk Shake BL, because I don't have the channel on here. Maybe before the episode's over, I'll fucking realize what it's called. But the episodes range from I think the shortest one was maybe 12 minutes, and the longest one was almost 25. So they're not really long episodes. You can get this out within a couple of days. I guess before we get really into the story, I will give credit to the actors who play Choco and Milkshake. So Choco is a Maltese dog, and Milk is supposed to be just a black cat. And the two guys who play them really do a good job filling in the personalities of a dog and a cat who have been reincarnated into humans. Yeah, I know. Lily's like, what the fuck? But the one who plays Coco, he really does a lot of following his owner around, not wanting to be separated, kind of like a regular dog, getting feisty. And then the cat, Milk, homeboy really is the sassiest cat around. He really does this whole he doesn't want people to touch him unless it's its owner, unless he gives permission, and he's just all around a cat. I love it, but it's so weird as hell. And there were some parts that were really confusing. It took me a while to read, so I didn't know his parents died. I thought his parents I just thought he lived away from his parents. It didn't clock for me until now that his parents are dead. That's crazy, because I don't think they explain it. They explain why So the reason why this show was really sad. So obviously, if they're reincarnated, they are no longer alive. So it turns out, and I'm gonna get this out of the way because I don't want to get into this later and it'll be sad. What ends up happening is that the dog, I guess, got let out of the house by accident, and he got hit by a car because he was running off trying to find Jeong U. And then the cat got sick, and he didn't catch it early enough. Lily's about to cry because she also has a dog. Sister's gonna get sad because we both have dogs, and I also have a cat, and I've dealt with a cat dying, so it's a lot of emotions. But before we get into it, let's get into the real stuff. So it is a romance. It's a BL, so there is romance. He falls for his dog. Yeah. So they come back And they kind of go back into this routine. First off, I don't know about you, but I don't care if you tell me as many memories. Actually, that's not true. If Rocky ever came back to me as a human and was like, hey, it's me, Rocky, I'm like, sir, you need to go into a mental hospital because I think you're crazy. He lets them stay because I guess he's convinced, which I don't know, maybe the homeboy's dealing with too much trauma, but he's not wrong. They actually are his animals. And they go into this like routine where when I say they're like his animals, they end up sleeping on his bed with him. Because as cats and dogs do, he has a part-time job at his uncle's cafe, who, by the way, it took me a couple of episodes to figure out that that was his uncle. I thought it was kind of like, oh, because he's older, you're just calling him uncle. No, that's his mom's brother. Like literally family. So they work together. So I guess he's got some family connection. I'm going to tell you about the uncle later because that one also drives me nuts. So they go back into this routine, and homeboy still hasn't dealt with the trauma of losing his animals. And it bothered me a lot because I know my dog is close to crossing the Rainbow Bridge himself. So it made me feel a lot of ways. So he gets a little emotional when like he goes to work and then Coco starts following him to the point where Coco almost gets hit by a car again. Obviously, because he's a human, it's a little easier for him for it to stop, but he freaks out. Like he basically almost has a panic attack and apologizes to both of them for not taking proper care. And it's really, I don't know, it stirred up a lot of emotions as a pet owner. I'm gonna mention that a lot. So yeah, he decides to keep him at home, and it's for him. It's like it's not even living with roommates. It's like living with a cat and a dog. There's a scene where they're literally sitting on the couch all together, like watching TV, and then he gets up to get ready for work. And let me tell you, this is how you know homeboy's really good at playing a cat. Jeong U was getting ready for work. He puts on a pair of sweatpants, and you know how sweatpants have the like drawstrings to pull tight? They're let loose and they're swinging. And you know how cats love string? Homeboy jumps on him to pull on the string and pulls his pants down. Dude was not wearing underwear. And this is where the show got weird. Coco was staring at my man's penis. We just stared at it, and he was smiling weirdly. But again, because he's a dog, so he's just smiling like silly. But like when you're not understanding like the point, like this is supposed to be his dog, like when you forget that for a second, it's just a weird looking scene. But I'll give it to them; they're very creative with this concept. So he ends up taking them to work with him because he realizes he can't leave them at home, and Coco really does follow him like everywhere. He does not let him out of his sight. He's like following him around everywhere, and the cafe's not doing really well, so there's not a lot of people there. And Milk is just kind of like here. He's just sitting there drinking his milk. Literally. It's the funniest thing. The uncle falls for the cat. He does not know that it's a reincarnation of the dog and the cat. He keeps playing off Jeong U that his two new friends are named Choco and Milk by saying, oh, they're nicknames. I nickname them after my childhood pets because they just remind me of them. Fucking weird. Again, like, I don't know about you, but I guess because therapy isn't that big over there. But if I was his uncle, I'd been like, hey, I think we need to have a talk. But nope, he falls for the cat. Because he likes like, the fact that the cat is like nonchalant, like whatever attitude. To the point where the cat starts noticing it because he keeps looking at the cat a certain way. He's looking at Milk. I gotta stop saying the cat because he's not a cat. He's a human. He's a human. But it's still weird to me. And he keeps giving Milk these looks like he's interested, and Milk keeps trying to tell him to stop looking. It's like so weird. It is kind of a day-to-day slice of life story. There is this underlying story where we find out a little bit later that Coco and Milk can only be with him for 50 days. It's a short time because they came back with these. Coco convinces Milk to come back with him to kind of like state that we're going to make him feel happy again. We're going to do something to make him feel happy because he's been really sad since we left and since everything. And they don't tell him at first. But Jeong U overhears it. So he knows they're going to leave soon. But like we find out later that Coco really wanted to stay with him. He doesn't want to leave at all, which is like fair because attachment. And it becomes this whole struggle of like, you have such a short time again with your animals. Like, what do you do? But then it's weird because they're falling in love. So the emotions are all over the place. There is an episode where he gets sick. So Coco and Milk decide to take care of him, which is, again, like, I always say this, the stat on the line of this is, like, we all wish our animals could come back to us. And wouldn't it be great if they could come back to, like, help take care of us after we've taken care of them? Because, you know, I know it's really sad. So he gets sick, and then they decide to split chores. So Milk goes to the cafe to do his part-time job with the uncle, and Coco stays home to, like, take care of him. And I guess Coco really reinstates those memories because he makes him an omelet that his mom used to make him when he was sick. Jeong U's mom used to make him. So it's, like, really sweet and touching. But homeboy made a mess of that fucking kitchen because, again, he's a dog. He a dog. And then with the kitty cat, again, the manager and him, get a little too close. Like the manager ends up making him food, and then he really enjoys it, so he makes him like all this other food, and it's like a date. Like you're supposed to be working. What is going on here? It is a fluffy little energy. It's very sweet. I have to give props into all the actors having this weird concept and doing it really well, and also on a really tight budget, because there's really like in total there's like 8 actors, 4 main ones, which is Choco Milk, the uncle, Jeong U. There's an episode where he goes on a blind date, which I'll get to in a second. We do meet one of his exes for like a short time. I think this is 9 actors. 9 or 10. Because then at the end, there's 2 girls who come to the cafe at the end, and the mom. And it's the entire cast. So it's only 4 main people in the entire series that we mostly see. We obviously get some extras, but like 9 people with like speaking part. Oh, there's another one. There's 10. A woman who just walks down the street holding her dog, but she's got 1 line. But it's like 10 because when they do the end credits of the very last episode. So it's kind of crazy. They had such a tight budget. They did it really well. So obviously we start noticing that Coco and Jeong U start to develop feelings for each other. Like the first day they're at the cafe, Jeong U's like drinking a coffee and he's got whipped cream on him, and Coco licks it off because he's a dog in a human body, so he doesn't realize that that's basically kissing. We find out a little bit later, like I said earlier, that Coco decides he came back under false pretenses. It was because he wanted to stay. Problem is, if they stay past the 50 days, they'll disappear. I guess like they're sold or something out of these bodies. And Milk feels betrayed because that's not what he agreed to. And he realizes that they're falling in love. And I feel really bad because like, obviously, I think Jeong U doesn't do this on purpose, but he was clearly more closer to the dog than with the cat, because the dog is obviously going to be more affectionate and want to be around, where cats are like more on their own. And so the reason why him and the uncle get close is that he starts to notice how close the two are. So Jeong U goes on a blind date. Coco gets really mad. Because Coco wants to follow him, and he doesn't like that he's hanging out with this dude who, by the way, was not really attractive. I was like, whoever set you up on this date hates you. And this dude was kind of weird. He was really pushy. So Coco starts following them, and at one point, because the blind date, they separate. They're like, okay, I gotta go. He went back to give Jeong U these treats that he bought. Coco literally almost snaps this dude's arm off, being like, don't touch my owner type of thing. I was like, dude, relax. Milk is at home because he was like, yeah, I stayed home because I listened. You told me to stay home, so I'm going to stay home. He rewards them with petting their heads. I don't get it. But he gets pets. They both get pets because I guess he's like, you know what? Why not? Favoritism. Such a cute little story, but it does get sad towards the end. So I'll go back to the uncle and cat's relationship a little bit later. So at towards the end, because it's a short series, it's like I said, the very short episodes. It's 11 episodes. There's not really much to talk about. So I really didn't realize it was his uncle. I can't stress that enough. This dude looks really young. I'm assuming this has got to be an uncle who was like, they were probably born around the same time, so it's probably a much older sister. I think it's great that he's taking care of his nephew. That's really sweet. Got him a part-time job nearby so he's not alone. So him and the cat connect because I guess him and the cat have very similar personality, him and Milk. So when Milk gets mad because Coco and Jeong U clearly are getting a little too close, he walks off and he tells the uncle, buy me a drink. Which I'm like, why are we giving this dude alcohol? He's never had it before. He's barely had anything. Because they're learning to be more human. They're developing human skills. They work at the cafe with him at one point when it gets busy. He gets super ass drunk. But he also gives him a lot of liquor. More liquor than you should be drinking. So he ends up spending the night at the uncle's house. So the episode ends with him waking up shirtless, but it's like, oh, you threw up on your shirt, and I had put you in my clothes. And he gets nervous because he's like, I can't face him. Because technically they kissed when he was drunk. But the uncle doesn't do anything with him because consent is key. Remember, everyone, consent is important. So he gets really nervous to go see the uncle. So it gets towards the end where they're about to go back to cross the Rainbow Bridge because it's kind of time. The 50 days are up. It's really sad. His friend shows up. So they hop out of the cafe, and it's like this random, I guess a roommate or a friend shows up. And he starts not flirting with the friend, but calling him adorable and cute because this little short guy. 11 cast members. I forgot about those dudes. So 11. There's 11. He gets really jealous that the uncle's calling him cute and sweet and like patting his head and whatever. And they fight. And I'm like, dude, that's really weird. Because when you think about it, he's a cat. But It's one of the things where like he's like, I know you're leaving. I don't know why you're getting jealous. I don't know why you're getting mad. It's really sad because like poor Milk is like he was kind of brought here under false pretenses. He doesn't want to be here, or not that he doesn't want to be there, but he's like, this is not what I agreed to. We're supposed to come, make him happy, and then leave. You know, the ex, Jeong Woo's ex comes back. He tells Coco, you know, this might be the right person to kind of push him towards, but Coco keeps not sabotaging it, but it's very clear that Jeong Woo doesn't want to be with anyone else but Coco. And then he's trying to tell Coco, like, we can't be doing this. And then when Jeong Woo promises to, like, take care of Coco, Milk kind of, like, realizes that he really has no reason to be there anymore. And it makes me mad. I get really sad because I'm like, this poor kitty. I feel bad. It's really sad. So he actually goes meet up with the uncle before they leave. And he says something that, like, really resonates is that he says, if I ever get reincarnated, I want to come back as a cat. And I don't want to be someone's pet. I want to live freely. And that made me cry because I started thinking about my cats. And I'm like, both of my cats were rescued, technically. Oh, yeah, they were. So my cat Lily and Louie, they were born in restaurant. Or Lily was born in a restaurant. So she was supposed to be like to a mom that like the cats that get the mice or whatever. And then Louie, his mom was an alley cat who passed away after he was born. And they lived in a printing shop that my mom worked at. She accounted for.
Well, their moms were managers.
No, they were street cats.
They're managers.
She was not living in the building. She lived on the streets.
The other one was
Sure.
manager.
Their cat. Okay. Lily's being weird. Are you gonna cry?
No.
I hope so, because that'd be funny. But it made me feel sad because, like, my cat was supposed to be an alley cat. He's not supposed to be living in a house. He's more domesticated now. Both of them were. And they're spoiled brats. But, like, so I've dealt with a cat passing away. And someone pointed this out in one of the comments. And I'll go more into Coco after this because I want to talk about Milk first. When it's time for him to go and he decides to go and he leaves Coco behind, Jeong U offers to walk with him. Because, you know, he's, you know, original owner and he wants to be there for him again at the end. And he says no. He wants to go on his own. He wants to take a walk. He goes see the uncle. And then he goes on his own. But this is something that someone pointed out is kind of true. When cats die, cats know they're going to go. They do. They have an inkling. They hide. And a lot of people say it's because they're pulling a prank on their owners. But it's really because they don't want you to see it. And that's what happened with my cat Lily. She hid behind a chair that she really liked sleeping under. And that's where my dad found her. Because we thought we found her, and this is going to be really sad, but it's kind of the truth. We found her late at night. My dad found her. We were so used to her kind of just doing her own thing and sleeping wherever that it didn't register to us that she just wasn't around us. Because again, you know, and that's what makes it so sad about, I'm not going to cry right now, about Milk, is that cats are like that. They don't, oh God, poor Lily. They don't want to be around you when they go. You don't have to pause. The crying is good for the audience. That don't make me laugh. But it is really sad. Cats do that. They just don't want to be around. And to have him do that, I was like, oh shit, I'm going to cry. Yeah, it's just sad. And then he goes away. And then, so it's really disappointing because you kind of see throughout the series that, like, Coco is Jeong Woo's main point of attention, whereas Milk is kind of just there. Like, he's listening, doing what he's supposed to do, but for him, it's not. He wasn't supposed to come. It was supposed to just be Coco. He was just dragged along. I will say this: him and the guy who plays the uncle, the actors, they have a really good chemistry. They really should do another show together. They really do. Like, when you watch them together, they have really, really good chemistry. That a lot of people were asking for them to do another show together. Like, there's 2 scenes when they kiss, and it was like, damn, it really was like there. So, to go with Coco, obviously he's a fluffy dog. He's getting more attention. He doesn't want to leave because it is that attachment. Are you looking them up? Yeah. So you're going to hear me point this out. The top 2, so that it goes, me and Lily are looking at the poster right now before we guess. The top one is the uncle, and then you have Milk, Jeong Woo, and then the bottom one is Coco, the dog. He does look cat-like in the... Well, he's wearing a leather jacket. It's very cat-like to put him in a leather jacket. I think that's what fit really well. Yeah. So, again, I think they casted the human version of these animals really... Yeah, well, because you look up Choco Milk Shake, you're going to get photos of a Choco Milk Shake. That was ridiculous. I think you have to look up Japanese Korean BL.
Oh, it's a book.
Is it a book? No, it's not. Is it?
It's a webtoon.
It's a webtoon on what channel? Is there an English translation of it? Watch this be like super... Oh, webtoon now available. You're getting a real-time reaction to this. What's it say on there? I mean, it's got to be old. If it's on webtoons, I'm going to be so mad because I don't want to read it on webtoons. I don't like being on webtoons.
Oh,
What is is it like a Korean
it's a
website?
Boomtoon.
Boomtoon. I'm sure I could find an English translation online somewhere. I'm going to read this now. So it says this webtoon was produced based on the web drama Chocolate Milkshake was Choco Milk Shake, and has a new story that is different from the web drama. So this is it's not based on a manga or a webtoon. The webtoon is like an adaptation of the series. I was going to say, because in the description on my drama list, there's no webtoon listed. See what I mean, though? Milk is not even on the cover. Is it out?
Yeah, it started in January
Of what year?
this year.
Oh, you know what's funny though? I gotta finish talking about the series and I'll get to this part. So I'll talk quickly about Coco. That part hurt the most because obviously I'm really attached to my dog. I cried about my cat because I love my cat. None of us want our dogs to die. And it's really sad because the story said he got hit by a car. And that's my biggest fear whenever I take my dog out, is that he's going to die and get hit by a car. I get really nervous. The actor plays him very sweet, very cuddly. Jeong U starts feeling more happy. Like, he meets with his ex, and even his ex tells him, you know, you and I walked this entire time, but you spent most of the time talking about Coco, your friend Coco. And they agree that, like, you know what, if you're ever ready to, like, start seeing people again, I hope that I have a chance. But I think the ex knows that, like, oh, he really wants to be with this other dude. He promises Milk that he'll take care of Coco so Coco doesn't disappear. But he clearly realizes that he can't promise that because we don't know what's going to happen. And it's selfish. You can't just keep him here. So he makes Coco cross the Rainbow Bridge back. And this is what makes it really sad for me because, mind you, I'm sitting next to my dog. We don't see them go back. So we don't see like a pair of, they show a pair of animals in photos. When they do flashbacks to like when he finds Coco, it's in a drawing form. There's no like actual flashback. Although he meets him when he says when he's a teenager, it's a black screen and then it's words. No one reads that. It literally just says, when Coco reached the Rainbow Bridge, Milk had to comfort him because all he did was cry. And I started crying. But that made me burst out crying because I was like, no. And then almost a year passes before we see him again because he gets to come back. That's the end scene. So they both get to come back. They get 100 more days. So he gets depressed. Even the uncle's starting to miss Milk. And then he starts just running because I guess he knew that Coco was there. And then Milk just ends up going towards the uncle, and then they all live happily ever after in the sense of like they all start working at the cafe together, and that's the end. So it was really sad. I started crying because I was like, I don't want this dog to die. There was supposed to be a second season. So the reason why when you brought the webtoon thing, they said a new story. There was supposed to be a second season. It was announced. If you look at all the actors' my drama list that's listed, I think it got canceled. So I'm wondering if this web series, webtoon, is supposed to be like the second season. Because I'm wondering, I would like to read know if like it's just a retelling of it and then maybe a couple more chapters. Because they don't get to stay. He tells them we get 100 more days, which is a lot. I mean, it's not a year, but it's a lot. So I'm assuming they may have to go back and then leave for a bit and come back, which I don't know how that's going to work. But it is only 100 days that they get. And I assume the second season would have explored how they would work around that, like how 100 more days would have went, more adventures, and then like how can they stay? Like what do they have to do to get them to stay? But it ended up getting canceled. This series came out in 2022. And it's now 2025. I think the second season was supposed to come out in 2024. I'm not sure. But if a webtoon is coming out now or has come out, that must be it. But yeah, it's a weird one. I really couldn't talk about it because it was really short. So I will say these episodes were really short, so it's not much to say. I cried For the cat, I did. It was so sad. It's just that when they walk off, it's like they leave. Because even when Coco says goodbye, they're sitting at this like swing that they've been spending time at, and it's just like you just want to cry your eyes out. So, in terms of a rating, I'm going to give this series a 7 out of 10. That is going to be my rating for this one. If only because there were some scenes that I don't know if it was, I feel like it was the writing that kind of made it a little stiff in some scenes. I wish we would have explored more as to why they only get 50 days. I wish we would have explored more as to what's going on and why they have to only can stay a certain amount of days and then come back and still only stay a certain amount of days. And like, they claim they came back because he asked for him. Were the bodies that they were using like their human form, or are they in someone else's body? Like, you know what I mean? I think there's some questions that weren't answered, and then it kind of like open ended. So it's like I hate that it was open ended, and then we don't get a second season, which shouldn't diminish a rating of a series, but like still, I'm just like, I don't know. It just I feel like we could have got a lot more out of it, but it was still good. It still pulled my heartstrings, but also it's just a weird concept, and I just still don't know how I fully feel about the idea of like your dog and cat coming back to life, and then your cat falls in love with your uncle, and then you fall in love with your dog. It's weird. I'm sorry that like it was a cute story overall, but it was still really weird, and I'm glad the most they did was kiss, because let me tell you, I love my dog. My dog is my son. I ain't ever looking at him any other way. Do I have a song? I don't think I picked one.
No, but you should put Cat and Dog by TXT. Let's play forever. I just want to be a dog. Woo, 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 woo. You should have her sing. That should be it. I think it fits perfectly. I'm just saying.
Fine. I hate that we're doing this for TXT.
Like
You keep doing it, and I won't put it, and I will scream in this mic. You better cut all that out. All of it. All right, so here's my song of the week. This is technically Lilia's song of the week. Actually, I didn't have one, so we'll make it both of our song of the weeks. It is gonna be Cat and Dog by TXT. It is a Korean BL, so it fits, I guess. Now we just gotta figure out what we're gonna do for the other one. That's got a similar premise, kind of. So yeah, it is gonna be Cat and Dog. No, we're not. No, we ain't. I hope you saying that caught on the mic, because no, we're not. So it is gonna be Cat and Dog. So yeah, I should actually look up the YouTube channel really quick.
Waggy by Mamamoo.
No.
It's also about animals.
Can you stop giving suggestions while I'm trying to do this? If anyone knows how to be an editor, let me know so I can fire this one. Okay, so the YouTube channel, by the way, where you can find this series is Strongberry. The ad is at Strongberry KR for obviously Korea. They have a full playlist of basically the entire series and like the trailers and stuff. So definitely check them out. They have a couple other shows that I kind of maybe will check it out at some point. So yeah, that's kind of it. And I guess we'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.
All right, guys, that's it for this entry. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media accounts. On Twitter, you can find us at FG Diaries Pod. On Tumblr, TikTok, and Instagram, you'll find us at FG Diaries Podcast. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and hope you all have a wonderful fangirly day.